Drawing the knees and legs are the same principle as drawing elbows as shown in the elbow tutorial. Looking at angles, center line of the leg, turning point of where the knees are, we start again building up from the inside out. So we look at the bend of the leg where the knee is, how the tendons move across the leg at the top, down to the calf, down to the ankle bone, tendons and volumes moving around to the edge of the leg on the far side, moving to the top of the leg. Same as with the definition on the leg on the other side. Inside structure around the top part of the leg, down to the calf, how the calf relates to the other side. And on this angle again, turn on the knee, structure like the elbow of the knee itself, down to the V, tendons on the side of the leg, how the tendons move across the top volume of the thigh, moving down to the calf and the front part of the calf, which is a faint hint as the one side connects to the other. If we look at the leg on the far side again, center line, bend on the knee, looking at the structure of the knee, turning point of the muscle to the top, down to the calf towards the front. If we remove that image, you will have the rendition of legs. So if we were to build the back part of the leg, again, center line, turning point, where the bend of the knee is on an angle would be where the foot is. But again, looking at the inside structure, tendons moving across the thigh to the top, edge of the leg down towards the calf, pulling back up into the bend, all the way to the top of the turn, down to the ankle bones on both sides. Now again, if the leg is bent, center line to the bend of the knee, edge structure, turning point of the knee to the front V of the leg, across to the thigh, back into the tendon, down to the knee, back to the calf, and to the turning point on the ankle bone. Now looking at a different angle of the leg, from the back of the leg to a slight angle where we can see a hint of the knee on the side, there will be a tendon that moves across to the bend of that leg, tendon that moves to the edge of the thigh, across the front towards the back and down to the calf, front part of the leg, tendons moving down to ankle bone. And they will have a basic understanding again of the turning points and line work guiding you to build estimate of tonal values according to structure and volume. That it's not an outline but the inside out principle that applies. So again, if the leg is bent, we start with the knee, tendons across the knee, around the volume to the thigh, back into the tendons and bends adjacent to the knee cap or patella, down to the V, back down to the calf, to the front and side of the calf, and down to the ankle bones. If the leg is slightly turned, more so that the calf is adjacent to the top part of the leg, the knee is more protruded to the front, but the calf is squished a little bit more due to the thigh being right next to that part of the leg. But same principles of inside out applies. If, for example, we look at, again, the turning point on starting off the knee cap, tendons to the side, volume to the top part of the leg, moving back into the turn of the leg, moving down to the calf, edge of the calf around to the front part of the leg, down to the ankles. Again, this helps in determining the estimate of tonal values. And you can see the same principle of drawing elbows apply to drawing knees. Structure of the kneecap first, building up the tendons and volumes next to it, around the volumes and how they all relate. So looking a little bit more carefully at the structuring of the kneecap itself from the leg facing forward is looking at the structure of the kneecap, seeing all the tendons next to it and how they move along the top part of the thigh, edge of the tendons to the edges of the leg, moving downward to the V of the leg from the kneecap to the front, around to the top of the leg, down towards the calf, around the volume of the leg towards the other calf, moving back in to the tendon on the bend, around the top part of the leg and down to the ankle bone. Again, this provides guidance in building the tonal value of the leg and kneecap itself. Again, you will see that the structural lines here are drawn in this instance for the purpose of the tutorial slightly darker so you can see the guidelines of volumes and turning points a little bit more carefully. But when you actually do the final rendition of the drawing, you will see that your inside structural lines will be lighter, so that when you build up tonal value, they move over those structural lines so that they become part of the overall volume of the leg and knee and not so visible in this instance. But again, the principle of inside out applies. Structure first, tendons and volumes of mass muscle apply to the tonal value that you see. Your line work goes alongside the volumes of the muscle to give form from inside, moving to the outline to give volume. So remember the formula: structure, line, volume, edge.